If you think going back to work after having a baby is just a transition, wait till you hear how I went from a high-pressure corporate life to sleepwalking into a wall and realizing something had to change. In these videos, I'm sharing the most important things I have learned as a working mother, practicing the Montessori approach to raising children so you can spend more time with your children and less time on social media. If you're here, let this be a tiny reminder that your real life is happening in your home, with your little ones and not on your screen. I returned to work at 3 months postpartum when my parental maternity leave ended. My daughter was 3 months old and there was no hybrid option, no part-time role that worked for our situation. So I went back full-time into a high-pressure, male-dominated, sales target-driven environment. And before my daughter was born, I was used to working 10, 12, sometimes 14-hour days without blinking. I really enjoyed my work and I used to be immersed in it, and I can work a lot. So people simply expected the same version of me to walk back in, and because I didn't know better back then, I tried to deliver when I got back. I was like, okay, now that I'm at my workplace, I'm just going to behave like. So even my mindset was different, and the first day back was a shock, right? So they were like, oh, how are you? Great. How do you want to approach this work? And now that you're back at work, let's get you started. Here are the meetings that you have to attend, and so you're back. Great, here are your meetings. Yeah, let's go. And so I did what most working mothers do. I hit the treadmill running before I ever tried my shoes. So my mother helped, but I missed everything. While I resumed work, my mother had come back from grieving my father's death, and she was looking after my daughter with some domestic help. Now my mother helped, but I missed everything. And because we had domestic help, I didn't have to worry about cooking or cleaning. So I was working, I would come back home, but the trade-off was I was absent. Every day I left home while my daughter was still asleep. Every night I would come home just in time to feed, to cuddle, maybe play for some time, and then do her evening wind down routine, her nighttime routine, and then she'd be asleep again. I was her mother, but someone else witnessed every milestone. It's a strange ache loving your child more than your own breath, but meeting them only in the margins of your day. There's this silent expectation that almost all women mothers carry, and it is a quote. I can't remember the author's name, but there's a quote I read where it goes, we expect women to work like they don't have children and parent like they don't have work. And that was my reality, and it is the reality for all working mothers. And it was particularly hard for me because I was still grieving my father's death, who had died just 40 days after my daughter's birth, and I was back at work in 3 months' time. I had postpartum depression, I was dealing with PTSD, I was expressing milk in office toilets. We didn't have the facility, and I think a lot of companies don't offer that facility. Breastfeeding mothers who come back to work to give that safe space where they can express milk, and I was still breastfeeding her, so I had to express milk in office, otherwise it would get gorged. And I also had sleep deprivation because I was feeding her in the night, and I was pretending everything was normal. And many women I have mentored over the years have shared similar stories. Different countries, different companies, same struggle. And organizations don't always know how to support new mothers because, one, they don't want to interfere in people's personal lives, and yet motherhood seems to seep into everything. It's not a side thing, or it's not a hobby, or it's not a side job. It's a full-time job on top of your full-time job. So one night, months later, after I had resumed and I was still pushing through, and I was very depleted, and my daughter was not well, and I was trying to put her to sleep. I was exhausted physically, emotionally, spiritually, that in the middle of the night when she woke up and I was trying to pacify her, I literally sleepwalked into the wall, holding her in my arms, and I was that close to the wall. I heard a loud scream, snapped me awake, and for a moment I did not know if she was alive. It was the most terrifying 10 nanoseconds of my life, and that moment was just my line in the sand. I checked if she was okay. I gave her to my husband and I typed my resignation at 2 a.m. in the night. And my husband was very supportive of this, and I said, I just don't want to live here. I can't change the system. I want to leave this place. and we had just built a home in one of the most expensive cities of the world, like Mumbai. We had just started making it our own, and we had bought all the furniture and new appliances and stuff. But when your life feels like it's collapsing from the inside, you don't think of furniture and appliances, you think of safety. So we applied for Australian residency, got it quickly, and left. Now, why am I sharing this with you? Because if even one mother watching this video is overwhelmed or guilty about not being enough or doing enough, I want you to know you're not broken and you're not alone. You're just carrying too much. Motherhood is hard, and if watching my story helps you log off, put down your phone, and spend those extra 10 minutes with your child tonight, then this story has done its job. If you're still watching, close the app. Don't jump onto the next video. Your child is in the next room, or on your couch, or asleep in the bed. Go sit with them. Go breathe next to them. Go exist in their world for a few minutes. Screens will always be here. Burnout will always be here, and it'll wait for you. Your child won't.